Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing another book haul. I just did one, but my boyfriend and I went around and found some new local bookstores in Central Texas, and I just couldn't help but indulge. There's just such a good feeling about buying from local bookstores and independent bookstores. I know it's like so much easier just to go to Barnes & Noble or order them from Amazon, but I feel like I got so many books that I really am interested in, and maybe books that I wouldn't have otherwise even known about if I didn't see them displayed in the bookstores that we went to. So I'm really happy with the books that I got, and I think this might be like my most favorite book haul that I've had in a very long time. Being said, I did order some books from Amazon. This was before I even went to the local bookstores, so I just want to go ahead and get those out of the way. First book that I have is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss. I just finished 101 Essays That Change the Way You Think, and I really enjoyed it. I actually ordered these two at the same time before Christmas, and this one was just extremely back ordered. It is the book about self-sabotage, why we do it, when we do it, and how to stop doing it for good. So her 101 Essays That Change the Way You Think, I think, had a lot of really good points and lots of things to take from it, but it definitely highlighted multiple aspects of life and how you could potentially navigate them, and I think this one kind of just highlights on sabotage. So I'm really excited about this one, and I really enjoyed her writing. The next book that I have is Kim Ji-young, Born 1982 by Chu Nam-ju. I think it's supposed to be able to fit the narrative of any Korean woman, North Korean woman born in this year, and it doesn't necessarily fit any one woman, but it's supposed to kind of be a compilation of the experiences of several women. I thought it just sounded really good, and I've heard it making its rounds on BookTube. It's actually really short. It's just about 150 pages, so I think that it'll be a good introspective read. The next book that I have is Sleepwalking by Meg Bulitzer. I've just always heard about this book. I'm pretty sure it is about some girls that are kind of highly academic, doing well at a kind of elite school, and gets involved with a group of girls in black. They're absorbed in the work and suicide of a different poet, and yeah, it just kind of goes from there. I've just heard really good things about it, so I finally decided to pick it up. Next book that I have is Know My Name, a Memoir by Chanel Miller. From what I understand, it just kind of gives the background about sexual assault, how it impacted her before and after, and kind of just the emotions and everything that she experienced with it. I've just heard amazing things about it. I'm really excited to read this one. I know this one has been around for a while. Yeah, 2019. Next book that I have is The Last House on Needless Street by Carolyn Ward. This is, I think, the only horror thriller book that I have. I'm really excited about it. I feel like I don't know much about it, but I've just heard that it was a really good thriller in 2021, so I wanted to pick it up. The last book that I got on Amazon and that I'm most excited about is To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. I am a Little Life stan. It is a top 5 book that I've ever read in my life for me. So this follows a family and follows them in segments of 100 years, 1893, 1993, and 2093 in New York City. And it combines what I'm realizing that I like is different time periods included in the same book, and I love Hanya Yanagihara's writing. She's an excellent writer, so I'm so excited about this, and this is such a beautiful book. I know this is probably going to crush me inside. I'm sure I'll cry, but I'm so excited to get my hands on it. I wanted to move on to the books that I got at the local bookstore. This book that I have is Stay by Stephanie Daundler. This is the same author that wrote Sweet Bitter. With her family's addictions, her father had major health issues, being abandoned, and having addictions of her own, and kind of finding her life in New York City and Southern California. And I had no idea that she enjoyed any of this. Didn't know anything about her as an author. I just really enjoyed Sweet Bitter, so I was so excited to see this, and I knew that I definitely wanted to pick it up. The next book that I have is In Pursuit of Disobedient Women, a memoir of love, rebellion, and family far away by Dionne, Circe. This is about a woman who, I think she was initially a stay-at-home mom, and then she decided that she wanted to work and have her own job, and she started working. She has a job as the paper's West Africa bureau chief, which is an incredible position, but of course it changed her entire family dynamic from being a stay-at-home mother to taking on a job with a lot of responsibility. So I was just really attracted to this cover and title as well, so I had to pick that one up. Next book that I have is We Are Never Meeting in Real Life, essays by Samantha Irby. She actually had a ton of books, but I just picked this one up. I have definitely heard of this author. She is a Black woman author, and I think that these are kind of just her thoughts and feelings on different topics in life, like dating, friendship, her body, and just other things. I flipped through it. It looked really good, and yeah, I'm really excited to read it. I really wanted to pick up more of her books, but I knew that I just needed to start somewhere. What I have is Brown Girls by Daphne Palaciondretus. It is about young girls, young immigrant girls from the Black diaspora, and they are kind of navigating their life in Queens, New York. I was really attracted to the cover. I used to live in New York, so I always am down for a book placed and set in New York, and yeah, it just looks really good, and it's kind of short, so picked it up. The book that I have is But You Seem So Happy, A Marriage in Bits and Pieces, essays by Kimberly Harrington, and I just thought it seemed like so interesting, and I really like the cover. The synopsis is basically that 6 weeks after her divorce, the author started writing and kind of just putting together bits and pieces and reflecting about kind of what happened and her advice, and I thought that it just seemed like really an amazing way to heal, being creative and writing and reflecting. So yeah, I was really excited to pick this one up. The next book that I have is Filthy Animals by Brandon Taylor. This is a book, a collection of stories about different people who are kind of just going through different things in their life. One is about a young man that treads delicate emotional waters as he navigates a series of sexually fraught encounters with two dancers in an open relationship. One story is about a young woman that is battling cancer, a little girl that is babysitting, and a tornado rips through their house, so kind of just like different things. And I just thought it was really interesting, and I just really like short stories, so I picked this one up. The next book that I have is like kind of a self-help book. It's called The 12 Monotacts, Do One Thing at a Time to Do Everything Better by Thatcher Wine. My boyfriend actually pointed this one out. It's kind of just like trying to be the best at different aspects of your life, so that way you can do better at other aspects of your life, like reading, speaking, being on time, getting a good night's rest, and things like that. And it just seems really interesting, and it has different ways of, just how do you know that you're doing well at it, and how can I start, where can I begin. So I picked it up. Books that I have are from Bookwomen in Austin, Texas. If you're in Austin, I would so recommend going if you haven't already. It was so amazing. I just loved shopping local, and we went right kind of before closing. I think they closed at like 7. We probably went about 5:36, and we were the only ones in the store. It's a very cute, cozy store, but they have an amazing selection of books, like none that you've ever heard of. They definitely have the book talk books, the big books, familiar books, but they just also have a huge selection of books that were just so new to me, and I really love the experience. The book that I have is This Is How We Come Back Stronger, edited by the Feminist Book Society. An essay, short fiction, poetry, and more, feminist writers respond to the personal and political in the time of the pandemic. And so this, I think, is just different point of views of the way that the pandemic shaped and changed different women. And I realized that I am really just interested in other people's personal narratives and their own lives and their own personal trials and tribulations, their advice, their wins, and I just love to kind of read from the perspective of other people, especially women, so I just knew I had to pick that one up. The next book that I have is Everybody Else is Perfect by Gabrielle Korn, How I Survived Hypocrisy, Beauty, Clicks, and Likes. And this is about a young woman that has graduated and has a professional job. Everything appears great, but social media and the way that is impacting her is really impacting her in a negative way, and how she navigated that. I think that the whole concept of social media is really interesting because it can either be really, really good or it can be really, really bad. And I think that in this day and age, a lot of people are realizing that social media is definitely pandering to us. There's a reason why we stay on it as long as we do, and kind of like how can we use social media in a way to benefit us and not, you know, go on it and get off it feeling like crap. And I just thought that this was going to be really, really good. The book that I have is Carefree Black Girls, A Celebration of Black Women in Popular Culture by Blay, and it is a kind of like historical wrap-up of just different Black women who have been in literature, film, television, music, and the way that they have impacted society and culture. And I thought it looked really good, so I went ahead and picked it up. The book that I have is We Too, Essays on Sex Work and Survival, edited by Natalie West with Tina Horn, forward by Selena the Stripper. I just thought that this pulled me in, and I just knew that I had to pick it up and read it. I flipped through a couple of pages. I just think it's so important to understand different industries, different lines of work, the way that work impacts other people in their lives, and understanding the experiences of others. So I went ahead and picked this up, and I'm really excited to read this. That is all the books that I got this weekend. I can't believe I got so many books. I was not expecting to pick up so many books this weekend, but I really need to do kind of like a at-home book tour because I have so many all around me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.